everyone, my name is Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday for a Flosstube Extra where I show you how I applied gold leaf to this embroidery piece. But before we get to that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my artistic and crafty adventures, and welcome back to everyone who's been hanging out with me for the past however long you've been with me. It has been so nice to get to know you here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me at Dr._Christy. I'll put that right here. And that is where I post pictures of kind of my week, right? My crafty week for the most part. I have works in progress that I do during the week. I have baking. I have pictures of my dog. I have pictures of my life. I have cute outfits. Sometimes I post my nail polish, you know, all sorts of things that I do during the week goes up on Instagram. And you can find that at Dr._Christy. This is a channel about embroidery and cross stitch and other textile crafts and baking and history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you are not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. So like I said, I applied gold leaf to this piece. And this is a mixed media piece. So it is, the black outline is embroidery with 310, DMC 310. The colored parts are watercolor. And the gold parts, so the top of the book, these stripes, and then the words are gold leaf. And I have been talking about doing gold leaf on embroidery for a little while. Those of you who have spent any amount of time watching any of my Flosstubes know that I'm kind of in the middle of a large project that is based on an illustration by Hildegard of Bingen. This is what it looks like here. It is the cosmic egg. And I plan on doing gold leaf on these kind of gold corner parts. I'll put a little arrow to them. They don't look like much in the picture, but I think in real life they're gold leaf. However, I've been working on that for several months, and I certainly didn't want that to be my first ever gold leaf on fabric project, because if it didn't work, that's a huge amount of time to sink into a project for one piece at the very end to not work. So I thought I would try doing it on other pieces, and I did do a practice little square. But I didn't want to waste too much of the gold leaf because it is real gold. My mom gave it to me, so I have a limited supply. I have enough to do multiple projects, but I don't want to like waste it, right? And the nice thing about real gold, it's more expensive, but it doesn't tarnish. So imitation gold looks really nice, but it tarnishes. So that is why I'm really glad that this is actual gold. This is not going to be a tutorial. It is more like a look at this thing I did. Here's my advice, having done it once. If you want to try it yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip you around and put you on top of my table back here. And it's not going to be the whole thing in, you know, speed. There are going to be breaks in it. It's going to be sped up because it did take about an hour. And I don't want this to be that long of a video. But I do hope you get an idea of how it's done. And then at the end, I'll come back and give you and kind of point out some features of this piece, and also to give you some tips on things that I would do differently next time. Let me flip you around and I will show you how I put gold leaf on this. This is the piece that I want to gold leaf, and I have my materials here. I have a set of Creatology paint brushes that I got at Michael's, and they were like the really cheap ones because I'm just using these to put the glue, the sizing onto the piece. This here is the sizing, and I'm using Speedball Metal Leaf Adhesive Size, and it has the Mona Lisa on the cover. And this needs to be stirred before use, and then you just brush it on. And then I have some gold leaf that my mom got me. I don't know where she got it, but you can get gold leaf from most craft stores. I do have more in case I need more, which I probably will. And then I have a skewer that I use for all different things, mostly to stir things, and that is to stir my sizing. And then I have a paper towel, and I have my like test fabric that I've been playing around with. The rule is basically you stir your sizing and then you paint it lightly where you want it to go, and the sizing is milky and it's very liquid. So it looks like milk and it dries clear, and once it dries clear, then it's ready to stick. The directions for the sizing say that you should paint it on your fabric or whatever you're painting it on. Let it dry for 30 minutes and then put the gold leaf on. When I did this patch here, I did not wait 30 minutes. I just waited a couple minutes and it worked, but I'm going to try waiting a little bit longer. I don't think I'm going to wait the full 30 minutes, however, because fabric is different than paper and I want to make sure that it all is still, that the stickiness of it's available still. But as you can see, it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty durable, right? I can scratch it, but it still stays on, and I won't be scratching this when it's done. I have my sizing. I have my different brushes. So I think I'm going to use these two brushes, the wider brush for the wider sections and the smaller brush obviously for the smaller sections. There are a lot of very small sections in here, so right here and then the words, so I think this little one will come in handy, but this will be nice when I'm doing the wider sections. That's the plan. Let's see if it works. I'm going to start with the smaller one and do the letters. And the thing about the gold leaf, of course, is that it will stick wherever there's glue, so I have to be pretty careful about where I put glue and make sure that all of the sections I want to have glue, but that I don't go overboard. And if there's extra gold leaf on it because I like put a little too much, I mean, has anyone ever really complained that there's too much gold? I'm just reading in my Greco-Roman world class. The Roman Empire, or the Roman Republic just fell, and the empire is rising out of the ashes. And I feel like the Romans would never think that there could ever be too much gold. Okay, so the letters are done. I know they look pretty much the same, but they are done. And I'm going to move into this top book, and I want to do all these pieces, but I think I also want to do these here. And I might want to do these little lines here. So I think I'm going to do at least these guys, but I might do like these lines here and these lines here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. All right, I'll get back to that now. All right, so that extra stuff is done. I did these two ends here. I did that end there, and then I did this section, and this section. And so now I'm going to head up to all of these white sections at the top. I'm going to start with this brush in the smaller areas, and then I'll move on to this brush. You know what? I'm not. I'm just going to use this brush. It's not big enough that it matters, I think, and I like the control of this. So I'm going to get to that, and I will come back when I'm done. All right, I'm putting the finishing touches on, making sure I didn't miss any spots, although I think I can probably just go back. If I miss something, I can just go back into it because it's just like glue and metal, you know, it's not like mixing things. And I am going to let this sit for, this probably took me about 10-ish minutes to do all these, to do all the gluing part. And so I'm going to let it sit for 10 to 15 more minutes and then start in this way and move that way, because that's how I did. That's how I put the glue on. And I'm going to wash my paintbrush with soap and water. And then I will see you back here when I'm ready to put the gold on. It's been about 12 minutes and I did a little test spot on here and that stuck pretty well, so that's good. So I'm going to use this brush here to kind of get in the crevices and we'll, you know, see how it goes, I think. And I'm just gonna tap it in to the crevices and hope for the best, really. I mean, what else can I do? And this will also maybe get it into, like, if it's where I don't want it, I can shift it. Well, I'll keep working on it.
While I'm applying the gold leaf, I just want to talk briefly about how the application of this gold leaf as as real gold is different from the application of imitation gold leaf or other metal leaves. And what you'll notice is that this gold leaf is on a sheet of paper, and so basically you are attaching through the sheet of paper to the piece that you are gluing. For imitation gold leaf and other metal leaves, you have a kind of standalone sheet that you place on and then you swirl around, and you see there are videos of people who are gold leafing something and there's just metal leaf flying everywhere. That's not the case for gold leaf because you don't want your gold to just float away. So for natural gold leaf or real gold leaf, you have it attached to the paper so you have more control over where the leaf goes. And with imitation gold leaf, you have it in a separate sheet, which means that you can just put the whole sheet on top of it and swirl away the excess. And keep in mind that edible gold leaf is a whole other animal that I am not really discussing in this video.
I'm going to try this tool. This is a dotting tool that I use for my nail art when I do nail art. And it has balls on the ends, so it won't hopefully rip the fabric. Well, it won't rip the fabric, but it hopefully won't rip the paper, but it'll give me more control and it'll slide really well. So we'll see if this helps. Yeah, that's the ticket. And then I'll use the brush just to kind of brush things into place. Now look at that. That looks good. That's what we want. How does that look? That looks good. Another thing that might work is like a chopstick maybe? Something, you know, because you don't want it to be too pointy because you want it to not poke through the fabric or the gold leaf paper. I might use this for the brushing. It is more gentle. This is just a fan brush. These all just came with this really cheap Creatology thing that I got. brush this off and see. I mean, so far I like how it looks. I think it's a good start. I do think I want to scrape some of the gold leaf off of the raised bits, but that I can do at the end as well. But there's clearly some places that need more glue, like the G I think needs more, the M, the B, some parts of, I think the letters, I think because it's kind of smaller areas, it didn't work quite as well. And then some of the corner pieces here didn't have maybe enough glue. It's hard to know how much to put on, and it's hard to see when you put it on because it's milky. So I think I'm going to go around again, hit those other parts, and see where yeah, put glue on the parts that I think need glue, let it sit, do the gold leaf on those areas again, and then see where I am. So I'm going to come back at the end and show you where it ended up, but I do like that, and I'm very glad I put the gold on the books, on the book spines. I think that that adds a really nice touch, and it makes it all cohesive. So I will see you when that's all done in about a half hour, and I'll get started. Okay, so I put another layer of the glue over all of the letters and a lot of this top part. I kind of like these parts a little more worn, so I didn't do those. But I don't know if you can see the shine. I can see the shine, and I'm really pleased. Considering it's my second time ever doing gold leaf at all, and second time doing gold leaf on fabric, I think it turned out pretty good. So all I have to do is just put my little initials there, which are conveniently also always in gold, and back it. And if you look at the back, oops, it looks like, I don't know, it's looking pretty good on the back too. So there we go. Black thread, watercolor, and gold leaf. So I'll spin you around and I'll, finish it up and show you what it looks like after it's all taken care of. So there you have it. That's how I put gold leaf on it. And as you can see, it did turn out. It's very shiny. And I don't know if you can see, but it really, because it's so thin, it really molds itself to the fabric. So it almost looks like the paint, but a gold version of the paint. So what would I have done differently? Number one, I would have waited the half hour until it dried. The stick I used to stir the glue in the beginning, after about a half hour, was nice and sticky. I should have just kept it, and I didn't. So that was a mistake. The second thing I would have done is I would have been more careful about the application of the glue. I think that the brush I used was too large. Even though it was a fairly small brush, I think it was still too large. And the final thing I would have done is I would have used more glue the first time. In the directions, it says to apply a thin coat of the glue and not to let it pool. And I think that that works well enough on paper or other objects, right? Harder objects. But I think with fabric, you need a little bit more. And so when I put the second layer on, it made a huge difference because I did put 2 layers of the glue on, of the gold leaf on, as you saw. But waiting that half hour might have helped that as well. Going back to being more careful with how I applied the glue and using a smaller brush is these letters are very small. Like these little spaces are very small. And because I wasn't so careful, it got some of the glue on the black threads, which meant that those were gold leaf too. And it kind of removed the distinctness of the black outline, which I kind of really wanted. That's just me being sloppy, honestly. So keep in mind that wherever there is glue, there will be gold leaf. Whether you want it there or not, it will be there. I did find that I could scrape it away a little bit with my fingernail. The nice thing is that the gold leaf covers very well. So these sections here were not painted, but these stripes here, I decided to gold leaf after I'd already painted them. So that is nice to know because in my Hildegard piece, I accidentally painted over one of the spots that I wanted to gold leaf, and I was afraid I'd have to like paint it all, but I don't, because I think it covers pretty well. So anyway, that is my gold leafing of these books. I've been asked multiple times to record the gold leafing so people could see how it was done. So this is that video, and I hope that it was helpful. Like I said, it's not really a tutorial, but that's what I did. Those are my tips after doing it 1.5 times. And I think that for my first time gold leafing a piece on fabric, it'll be great. Keep in mind, you can't wash this. It'll scrape off if you scrape it too much, but it's pretty permanent. I think that's it from me. I hope that this was helpful and maybe inspired you to do some leafing of your own. There are all sorts of different leaves, gold leaves, that you can get at various craft stores. But I will see you in my Flosstube on Friday, and I hope you have a great week. So with all that being said, please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.